About a month ago, I printed up a couple hundred pictures, just little 4x4-inch pictures, just little vignettes of my life, moments that had been captured either times when I was really, really down and I was out in nature and nature brought me up, or maybe when something random happened to me. And I find that these little random acts, little random incidents, sometimes put me in situations and conversations that to myself and the other person are pretty profound and offer a moment of reflection, and to most other people aren't that interesting, but to some people are really interesting and inspiring. So I just want to share a couple of those and share the picture. So I'm going to break this one into two parts, maybe three. We're going to call this one Art Whirl. Art Whirl was it's an art show in St. Paul. I've taken lots of pictures and done lots of sharing of my pictures and art with individuals in really informal situations. Never done anything like a big art show. But my friend invited me to participate with her and to have a tent at Art Whirl in St. Paul this year. So I printed up a whole bunch of those pictures. I took a couple of different pieces of art that I had made with broken mirrors, and we just sat there. My friend was selling jewelry that she creates. So people would stop and look at her jewelry, and she would sometimes sell them something. And she had a really beautiful story and a real novel idea for what she sells. And I just took and set out about 35 of the pictures that I had. I just randomly selected them and set them out in little frames that were magnetic that you could stick to the fridge. But I didn't have any prices and I didn't have any explanation as to what was going on, other than I took a whole bunch of those extra prints and just stuck them in a pot with a label that said Stone Soup. And I just sat there. And as people came by and looked at the pictures, I didn't offer anything up. And a lot of times they would just walk on with a smile, and I would smile back and tell them to have a nice day. But every so often, someone would stop and talk to me. When I was setting out those pictures, there were two that really didn't fit, because most of them were moments like this, with a sunrise or a sunset, an animal, birds, different flowers, rocks and trees. But there was one that was just of my hand holding a key that I had found on the ground that had made me stop and think for a little bit. And the other one was an old rusty bucket. And when I put those out, I was kind of embarrassed to have them there. But I've kind of learned that weird random things like that can often lead to interesting situations or conversations, so I just left them there and then kind of didn't think about it. Even when people did walk by and look at them, I did feel a little bit self-conscious. But it turns out that those two pictures were two of the most fun and most interesting and thought-provoking interactions that I had. So the next two little segments are just going to be me relating the stories of the key and the bucket. I wonder if anyone else has that in their life, to where something that is random and unexpected, and maybe even kind of mundane to the extreme, ends up bringing something insightful, reflective. With it reaching out and doing something The fish are jumping. Or doing something kind of vulnerable. Something that you'd want to do, but that you don't know how. Or that you might have been afraid to. Led to growth or insight.